Thank you very much. Can you all hear me? Yeah. All right, because I don't want to hold this up here. Look, this is a worldwide problem. This isn't an issue germane to just Maine South. But what happens is people get into drug use because of despair. We need to focus on trying to provide support in the community through jobs and opportunity for our youth. Because that's where it all starts. When they have hope, they're not going to get involved in this. It's a wraparound approach. You have to have a public safety element of it. We need to be able to get out there and look for more grant money because money is an issue. And we're going to need to write grants to be able to have more community policing. I believe very strongly that when you have people out on the street caring and communicating with people, that there's less of that going around. I believe in the DARE program. I wish we could really bring that back into the schools. But I think in truth, the reality that we face is that jobs are one of the biggest problems that we have. So we have to work together to create new opportunities for people.
Thanks a lot. And we'll go on to the next question. All right. A lot of people in Worcester and Maine South area, we go door to door and we raise this. A lot of people's asking this question. It's about how our schools can be improved. Some ideas including building a playground at Chandler Elementary School, creating more after-school programs like Elm Park School, and making school lunches more healthier. This was one of the questions raised by a girl who was a member of the Peach Club. What would you do to improve our school? Will you be willing to raise property taxes if it's necessary to cover the cost? I'm going to start with you first, let's give you last. Sorry, you have to stand up again.
Again, we come back to the million-dollar question. Money really helps, but without money, we can call on each other to help create programs. All over the place you see people. Look what happened over here at the Y. Because people got together and helped, they raised a park. They took away an old, dilapidated park place and they made it into a beautiful park, community park for people. I think that the way that we can improve our schools is to engage our parents and our families, bring people together. I'm a firm believer in community schools, and I would absolutely, positively work toward providing more grant money. We've got to write grants to bring community schools back. They should be there in every school, in every neighborhood. And if we have community schools, you have people off the street, you have parents learning and reading with their children. Elm Park Community School, when I was first on the school committee, I had a program where parents and children came to school after school, and they did homework and worked together. And I think that that's one way that we can do that. We've got to help work together to raise money.
Mary Keith.
So, with Worcester Debate and with the Pleasant Street Neighborhood Network Center, this has been an issue that I've worked on a lot. Community schools, after-school programs for our kids. When you talk to parents and you ask them, where do they feel good about their kids being safe, they'll say at home or at school. We worked hard to strengthen the program at Elm Park Community School, and it didn't cost a lot of money. We also fought really hard to have level funding for community schools. Right now, I think it's at about $215,000. The previous superintendent was ready to cut it, and we had to be organized. We had to have a voice together to say, no, we're holding the line, and we need that money there. We're going to make this work. This is a minimal amount of money. So again, organized people working with elected officials, I think we have to have a voice. Parents have to have a voice about what their kids need in school too.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The question is, what would you do to improve the schools? Would you be willing to raise property taxes? No. What I want to do is I want to bring more jobs to Worcester. I know that this is one of the solutions that could definitely help everybody. If we have even 5 jobs that are created here in Worcester, that will raise up our tax bases. Those people will go out, they'll buy homes, they'll rent places, they'll go out to eat, they'll food, that type of thing will help. What I would do when I would be elected would be to go through the budget line item by line item. And I challenge anybody here to tell me that there's not any waste in our budget for the city here, either on the school side or on the city side. I am certain that there is waste, and we could eliminate a lot of waste and redundancy. I believe that's something that we could definitely do. And if we work together, where we have other programs, like at the Boys Club and Girls Club, and with some of the colleges, to help the students increase their grades and their scores on the MCAS, I think that would help students be more successful in life. Thank you.
Good question.
I'm glad we're in a boxing ring because I'm about to throw some punches. Did you listen to that garbage? Are you kidding me? Let's get real. Next year, we're going to be looking at maybe a $24 million deficit. On the school side, do you think it's acceptable at 40 or 50 kids in a classroom? I don't. Let me tell you something right now. If that comes down to it, yeah, I'll do it. But I'm going to make every single member of this council be accountable and understand what the consequences are. You think you can raise $24 million in property tax revenue in the next year? Are you kidding me? Should we do things to reduce spending? Should we do things to create efficiencies and leverage other revenues besides non-property tax? Absolutely. But next year, we got tough decisions. You need candidates that are willing to tell you the truth. Your children deserve better than that. Than no property, under no circumstances. The answer should have been, what's my tipping point? Is it 100 more officers off the street? Is it 30 kids in the classroom? Is it no public health nurses? That's the question that should be answered. And I'll tell you this much. I am going to look to reduce spending in areas I think we can do that. I'm going to look to create more efficiencies inside City Hall where I think we can do that. I want to work the leverage. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sell these children out like it was done in Prop 2.5, where I was lucky enough to have two parents who were public school teachers to help me outside the classroom. And that's the bottom line. And parental involvement, I think, is the biggest key where we can boost without really spending a lot of money. And that's a focus I think I'd love to have in the schools. I was lucky to be raised by two Worcester public school teachers, and they taught me to think. And I'm hoping you're going to think tonight and not listen to the garbage. No taxes, no circumstances.
Ding, 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 with Russell.
Thank you very much. Like as usual, I will try to improve in our public schools. I think we need to retrain and recruit qualified teachers. You know, I think we also need to look at making sure our kids not only graduate from high school, but they're ready to succeed in college and also in alternative training. Secondly, I think all those is good and well, but I think parental involvement is the key. Listen, my mother came here from Nigeria, working at a Target trading company for $4 an hour, trying to raise 3 kids. And I remember she used to sneak off on a break and make sure me and my brother were in the library for 2 hours before we went home. And that is why we are where we are now. My brother's head of business development at a telecom company, I'm an attorney, and my sister is a social worker at Family Health Center. So because she was involved in our lives, we didn't go astray. So I think parental involvement is key. And yes, if it comes down to it, I will raise property taxes. Because the youth might only be a small segment of our population, but they are 100% of our future. So what future do we have if our youth are going astray?
Brian?